This show is sponsored by my new business, MA Capital. I had success in my previous business acquiring companies before I exited earlier in the year. MA Capital is set up to support business owners on that journey, whether they want to sell now or they want to set up for a profitable exit later in the future. If this has piqued your interest and you'd like to work with me, head over to macapital.co.uk. Thanks so much for coming back for part 2.
No problem. Pleasure last time. Sure, it's a pleasure this time.
Absolutely. In the last episode, we discussed your motivations for wanting to start a business, which was, I think, twofold. One from sort of the disease that you caught, that you were diagnosed with.
Yeah. Crohn's disease,
when you were younger, and ultimately, if you didn't make a change in the way you were living, then that would have been would have been more of a problem. And coupled that up with your chemistry background, this seemed to be a perfect fit.
The stars aligned, definitely.
Yeah. So for whoever's watching now, if you haven't watched part 1, definitely watch that before watching this one, because now we're going to talk more about the business side of things. So, how's things, Robin?
Yeah. We're just coming off the Halloween special from last night. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier just before we started, but we did I believe, the world's first spiced lion's mane.
That's quality, by the way.
It sold out instantly. So I'm actually making some more today. But it was a little bit of fun. Lion's mane is one that's good for the memory, it's good for focus, cognition, bit of a dementia prevention as well. So very important.
And you've been taking it for 8 years, you were saying?
At least 8 years,
8 years.
I started taking lion's mane when I was in university. So I found that it really did help with studying. Makes sense. It's good for memory, it's good for focus, keeping going. I have put it in my coffee pretty much every working day for 8 years at least. So it's a good one. And the last 4 years, it's really boomed in popularity. So the price has gone up as well. And
So if I want to buy some lion's mane from you, especially, just for how pure your stuff is. So how much will this lion's mane cost me?
So this one's a special, definitely. I'm going to be selling regular lion's mane extract for £5 a gram. This one is the spiced lion's mane, so it was £6 a gram.
Okay.
But that, it really does have that sweetness at first with the cinnamon, the green apple, and the ginger. There's a couple of other spices in there too, black pepper and turmeric, but very minor amounts. So it's still like 99% lion's mane extract in there, but you do get that sweetness at first. I wanted to make something unique for Halloween, a little bit special, something that nobody else is doing. Because lion's mane, everyone's doing it. Everyone. Yeah. So that was the first port of call, but also loads of requests for lion's mane. So I did think, right, I'm going to have to make this a mainline product, but I can do it for £5 a gram. There's plenty of margins in that for me at that point, and it's a fair price as well, because a gram should last a couple of weeks. Do you know what I mean? These are very strong extracts. So, but yeah, eventually, you can only get the spiced lion's mane on the website right now. But in a couple of weeks' time, once we've finalised pricing and things like I say, we're definitely going to be £5 a gram regular lion's mane going forward.
How does that in terms of price? How does that sit with your competitors in the market in terms of price?
Well, there's a couple of things to factor in. I don't really see people selling it in its pure form. I don't see that at all.
Do you think there's a reason for that, though? Do you think that's because you can't sell it in its pure form if you want to make a lot of money and you want it to be a scalable business?
Potentially. I think if people were doing it, you'd be more likely to see it in a capsule, like an oil in a capsule, which is something that's within scope as well. But realistically, I don't see any reason why it can't be scaled up this way as well. And I'd like to think people can get creative with this oil as well. I have lion's mane in coffee, but there is nothing stopping people trying it out in food, trying it out in different things. People can get creative with it. And when I'm selling it as a pure oil, literally a runny one in a vial, you guys can do whatever you want with it. And that's the beauty of it. People don't want to be buying capsules if they want to try something new and then break them apart, And also, when I'm selling this as pure, it is absolute. Like, there is nothing else in there. There's no water in there. There's no ethanol in there. Like I say, the only thing that is an additive for this one is the spices. So I think there is certainly a scalable side to this as well, just like all the extracts. But it is a heavily flooded market with lion's mane. So it's about making the purest stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but why aren't people doing that?
Well, this is my own method as well.
Okay.
I don't know if people are. I don't know the methods people are using, to be honest. This was just something I've adapted from the chemical industry and applied it straight to natural compounds, essentially. So I've used my extraction knowledge from my production days in the chemical industry. Oh.
Yeah, make a wish.
I know. Just watch me coffee. And but I've applied that same technique. And the thing is, people are actually seeing it live on the TikTok lives, and they're thinking, wow, look at that. Look how runny it is. Look how pure that is. It comes out like treacle, this one. So people are seeing that and thinking, I want some. You don't get that when you're buying it in a little capsule or when you're buying it in a powder form. It doesn't look amazing. It is where it is. But this, you can see it gets weighed out in front of you. You can see I'm not shorting anyone. If you order 2 grams, you're going to get 2.2 grams or something like that. They love it. It's like 10% extra. But that motivates others to say, hey, do you know what? I'll have some as well, And if people order a bit more, I always, give them a bit more as well. It's the way we can build the community up and, a little bit back to the fans as well, to the regulars. And like I say, the regulars bought me out last night anyway. So
we'll talk about that. But just tell me a bit more about lion's mane. Yeah, is that sold in the bigger retailers?
You can definitely get it in all your good health food shops. Like I say, it's quite a popular one now.
And will that be as pure as yours?
Well, it's an interesting one. So there is one that's doing the rounds on TikTok right now, and I'm not going to drop the brand name or anything like that, but they're doing a Shilajit, sea moss and lion's mane extract all in one capsule, and it's a powder. And I looked at the side of it. I bought some myself just to see what it was at. I didn't really care for it. I didn't really see much difference. But then again, I'm already taking those things anyway, and it did make me question because. Like I said, yesterday was the first time I'd ever done a lion's mane extract, and it came out as a liquid. And I'm looking at these capsules, and they're entirely solid in there. So I'm thinking, is it really a pure extract in these capsules?
Are they marketing it and selling it as a pure extract?
Well, if you look on the side of the bottle, it just says lion's mane extract, and then it'll give you a milligram dosage per pill. So again, it's a little bit ropey when they're just calling it an extract or a 20-to-1 ratio or something like that. It's very confusing for the consumer. But when people are buying it from me, if you buy a gram of lion's mane, you get a gram of lion's mane, nothing else.
Pure. Yeah.
Absolute.
Uncut.
No additives unless you request it. You might say, hey, could you do some lion's mane in an MCT oil tincture for us? No problem. And I'd be able to do like special things like that, but I keep it as pure as possible. People can then play around with it however they like. They can put it in whatever way they look to consume this stuff. Like I say, I like it in the coffee, but maybe that's not for everyone. People don't like coffee, and but yeah, it has got a bit of a meaty flavour afterwards as well. So I think in dinners might be a good one. I like it in the coffee because it masks the flavour. But again, the spiced one is a little bit special. It's got that sweetness at first. So
how much are the competitors or this brand on TikTok or the bigger health food shops selling it for?
Well, it started off quite pricey. I think it was around the £30 for, I think you got 60 capsules for that, but you're taking 2 daily to get that dose that's stating on the front. So you're looking at a month's supply for £30.
But you're doing a month's supply for £10.
Well, it depends. It really does depend. You might find that 50 milligrams is all you need, but if your absorption isn't as good, or maybe there's other factors that are affecting it, maybe you need up to 200 milligrams. But that's the beauty of buying it pure. You can dose yourself, start off low, figure out the exact amount you need, and then you can save money in the long run. Whereas these pills, they might be too strong or too weak, and you might have to figure out all of these different things yourself. But buying it pure, by the gram, you can make these things up yourself. You can find out what works for you. Because one thing that I have found with all of these oils, with all of these products, everybody's different. Everybody's different. There is no one dose fits everybody. You know, bigger people will need a higher dose as well. And someone like me, I look at around the 100 mgs, you know, so mgs meaning milligrams. That's just, I say that quite a lot, so I clarify that now. But yeah, so that's the beauty of it. You know, you can sort of dose yourself, but I always say start off low, because the lowest dose you can get where you feel the effects, save your money in the long run, because then you're going to be able to use that same dose going forward. You might find that it's a perfect 60 milligrams is all you need, and then a gram, you know, that'd last you ages, you know, so it lasts you at least a few weeks, you know, but it's how accurate are people with their own dosing as well. I do recommend a micro balance to my customers, but some of them do like to, I just put a spoon's worth in, you know, and I'm like, okay, you know, not the greatest way to do it, but if you're consistent and you know what a way that works for you, you know, if you can get the same amount every time, that's the beauty of it. It's cool.
Is there a perfect, you know, like you get a multivitamin, all-in-one vitamin? Is it the same? Can you concoct the same where someone could just have a scoop of that a day and then it can all be taken care of? Or unfortunately, is it not working like that?
Well, it's interesting. I would say no, and I don't think anybody can. You do see these like broad spectrum, or it has 100 minerals in it, it has XYZ, you know, CMOS, and she legit gets a big pump for that lately. But realistically, you should be getting your nutrition from your diet. It's an absolute fact. Every oil that I do is packed full of vitamins, nutrition from the plants. You know, so that's like an added bonus. I don't even advertise on that. I advertise on what the effects are. So every time you're ordering from me, you're getting the pure oils, you're getting a broad spectrum of vitamins, minerals, and everything that comes out of that plant. But like I say, I don't have the analysis kit to tell you exact quantities of vitamins in each of those. But if you have a bit of information yourself, there is nothing stopping you guys doing a bit of research, seeing what vitamins are in each plant. You can always ask me as well. However, it's getting more and more difficult to reply to everyone, I must admit. There's a lot of interest right now. But I wouldn't say there is a one pill out there to sort all you need. And it's more so the way I like to work. Come to me, tell me what your issues are, and I'll suggest a few different things. Try maybe one or two, you know, work out which one it is. Work out what doesn't work as well, and then we'll tweak, we'll work it out, and for the next order, then we can look at different doses, we can really pin down what's effective for you, and that's the beauty of it. Whereas I would say to everyone, there is never going to be, we're going to get it first time, and we're going to fix all your problems. I've got a couple of customers where, you know, sleep in particular, sleep's a very funky one too. Everyone's different. Some people are waking up in the middle of the night, but they're getting to sleep okay. So that right there, that's two different problems. What I would suggest two different herbs for. Mm-hmm. So the more you tell me, the more I can direct you in the right sort of way. But if I don't sell the stuff, I'll still direct you in the right way too, and say, hey, I would recommend this herb, but maybe you can go somewhere else. Just always look for organic and always look for the best quality.
Where do you want to take the business in terms of size and services? And
I don't want to put a limit on it, but the growth is insane. I have to sort of pinch myself every now and again, and it has been very overwhelming. Right now, I am the everything of the business, from production to logistics to research and to making everything. You know, labeling, design. I'm doing a lot, and I'm only able to dedicate maybe a couple of hours a day to sales and doing the lives. The beauty of the lives is I can still work and show you what I'm doing at the same time, but I'm taking a reasonable amount just with myself selling. If I had a couple of salesmen, I dare say it would escalate.
Do you want to do that?
They would have to be competent. They would have to know at least everything I know, and maybe even a bit more. You know, I want these people, the customers that I have a lot of faith in me. And that's a bit where the overwhelming side comes in as well. They will message totally randomly. I maybe never met them before, and they'll say, hey, I have this, this, and this. I'm taking all of these medications, and I'll go away and I'll do a bit of research and I'll get back to them. But because I will look at specific conditions and I will research based on exactly what they're telling me, they appreciate that so much. And I always tell them I'm not a doctor. I am not a doctor at all, but I do have a passion for natural medicine. And like I said, I did fix myself with this stuff, with Crohn's disease. And the openness and the fact that it's all transparent and you can see exactly how these things are made.
Yeah, it's important.
Exactly. It just, I wouldn't want that to be lost with other sales folk as well. And that's why the 3 investors I have on board right now, they're all chemists. They've got that background.
What if they don't have sales skills though? Because having sales skills,
I had no sales skills. I'd never worked in sales before this year, so I have complete faith. And the thing is, they're intelligent. They're smarter than me, you know. So at least I rate them, you know. And I know if you can do something as complex as chemistry and you've done a few different roles in it, sales is just another, you know, hurdle. There's a few things to learn, definitely. I'm learning every day. I'm terrible at sales, you know, and I genuinely believe if I was, you know, from a sales background, I'd be doing a lot better. But it's important to have well-rounded people before the sales side. You know, I think if you can answer every question coming at you, and the difficult questions a lot of the time, that's what really gives the faith. That's what people put their confidence in.
Are you producing like a document which, so every question that you get, because this is what I would do, every question that you get answered, create this into a document or video, and the salespeople could watch that?
That's it. We need a familiar ask questions. That's an absolute, like, it's already been pounded at me. If my partner's like, why are you not doing that? Yeah. It's just a time thing. I've not sat down and done it. Now, one thing that is really interesting is that most of the questions are different. And don't get me wrong, you get the fair few that are similar. Got out for sleep, got out for arthritis, don't get me wrong. However, a lot of these questions are complicated, especially when they come at you saying, hey, I have fibromyalgia, I have sleep issues, and I also, I'm in a wheelchair because of X, Y, Z. I have to really dig into that case. I'm not comfortable giving out what I think is going to work unless I've really spent some time with that person. Again, I would expect the same from sales staff if that did happen down the line. But right now, we are making enough just to get by. My bills are paid each month, and that's all that matters for me. I'm not, a greedy man by any account. I do give a lot of freebies away as well. But the thing is, if you are a regular customer, I do try my best to treat you right as well, and new customers as well. But those guys are keeping me alive. And everything I make, they're like, put some aside for me, no matter what it is. It's they're always interested, but it's because they've already had some. They already realised no matter what I make, it's going to be pure. They're not going to get any crap, so that's the point, yeah.
Guys, just a quick one. Over 75% of our listeners aren't subscribed. So if you are enjoying this, please show some support by liking, commenting, or subscribing wherever you're watching the podcast. It'll allow us to keep getting on amazing guests, and it's massively appreciated. Back to the show. So do you want to turn this into a multi-million pound business?
Absolutely. So my dream is by 35 to be a millionaire, definitely. That's my sort of goal that I've had in mind for at least the last 6 months. And but yeah, that's don't get me wrong. I don't care if I meet that or not, because right now the main goal is making sure those bills are paid. If that happens, fantastic. But the growth I've seen, I've got to keep remembering, like, this is a new business, and I dare say it's going to, I think last time we spoke, it was going to have paid for itself by February, March time with all the equipment that I've bought. It was a lot of money been paid out. I think that's going to be close to January now. So, yeah, it's going to be less than a year of actual trading, and we're going to have broke even. And then after that, it's all profit. So it's to get that in like 6 months is phenomenal.
That's only with what about your sales channels? Like what sales channels are you on? Like, are you doing B2C? Are you doing?
I'm just doing TikTok.
Are you doing like B2B? Sorry, like, are you going out to approach, chiropractors or?
Don't get me wrong. I have people who approach me. I have got in touch with a couple of masseurs as well, and they're buying products. That was more early days before the TikTok kicks off. Now all of my attention is on TikTok Live. I'd say 90% of my sales are getting driven through that. I was going to go out there and do market stalls and don't get me wrong, maybe there is scope for that as well. However, I can set up my own market stall at home in my lab, and it takes me 2 seconds. If I'm going to these places, I'm loading up the van, I'm taking a load of stuff there. Maybe the weather's going to be crap, but I can sell all day on TikTok Live and have a laugh and come off whenever I want, take a break, hit the PlayStation at dinner time. It's great what I'm doing now. I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. I'm in total control. Whereas when you're hitting these market stalls, you're there all day, it's good, don't get me wrong. I do like face-to-face interaction, but the community on TikTok has grown now, and there's always at least 15 people watching, and but it goes up to, I've had 1,000 people in there at once. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't always last like that, and it'll drop in and out, but to have that kind of, that many eyes on what you're doing, I only have to sell a couple of things a day and I'm meeting target. So I really have left the idea of other avenues now. Maybe other live streaming down the line. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can't believe how well the TikTok communities took it. And yeah, it's been really nice. The feedback's been amazing as well.
I think do more of what works is a smart philosophy, which is obviously what you're talking about there. I do think there's definitely a place to do that in-person market stall stuff. 'Cause I think
definitely
that will help build a community as well.
And I have done one. I've done one, like, as a little don't get me wrong. I'm based in Redcar. There was a Wellbeing Festival in Redcar. I'd be silly not to. It was 5 minutes walk for me. So we did one there, and we did all right. And there wasn't that many people there, but we still took a couple of £100 for 5 minutes walk. That's not a problem, So yeah, there's certainly scope for it. There is scope for it. But right now, it's just so easy. And I can sell at any point in the day as well. If I feel like going on at 8 o'clock at night and doing a late night live, I'm most likely going to bump into people who are suffering with their sleep. And there's different markets at different times of the day as well. So whenever I feel like going and selling, I just do it. And that's the beauty of it.
What about influencer marketing?
So I've reached out to a couple of channels with a lot more subscribers, a lot more followers than myself. I'm in the middle of just getting them to test it. Literally, they went out 2 days ago, so they'll be getting their packages now. Yeah. So, but the main thing is, I've said I don't want you to sell anything you're not confident in. Do you know what I mean? So, get comfortable with the products first. See what works for you. And if you think that one product is worth selling on your channel and you think you can, then I'm happy to do a bit of commission for them. And I've got a couple of fantastic channels that I like personally. I'm not going to name the names just in case it doesn't work out. But the potential's there, and they've got a much wider audience than I have. I've only got 2,050 followers on TikTok, but that's all in the last couple of months. I had like 300 like 2.5 months ago, something like that. So every time I go on, I'm picking up anywhere between 10 and 50 followers, and that growth itself, it's insane. It's insane because if only one of those becomes a regular monthly customer, amazing, absolutely amazing. If they're just spending £30 a month, that's like well, already that's £360 a year from one dedicated customer. So there's so much value in it. There is so much value in it.
Are you wanting to have standard products? Are you wanting to be more tailored to specific needs? Like, are you going to have like off-the-shelf products where people can just come and...
I do both. I do have my standard range, definitely. And it's good. It's good in that sense because I can always say, hey, I've actually got something already that might help you, and then I can say, try this. If it doesn't work, then we can make maybe something a bit stronger for you, or we can tweak it. For example, some people are allergic to coconut, obviously, and I do a lot of products in MCT oil, which comes from coconuts. And I'll say, hey, if that product would have worked for you, but yeah, I can do you one up in olive oil, whatever. I can keep it very customizable. This is kind of the beauty of doing it with just me at the moment because I'm doing everything. If you contact me, I can make it however you like. So the thing is with the tailored stuff, people come back. People come back because they can't really get it anywhere. You can't go into Holland and Barrett and say, oh, could you do us a blend of X, Y, Z? No, they'd say, well, it's this product, and this product. And so I am not switched off to both. I really want to keep tailored products there. But I do have my best sellers and I do have a supplement range as well, which covers a lot of different things. So it is functioning all right now. I can sort of point people in general, but if people have more specific or more complex needs, then we can work with them and see, what's going to be more effective for them. But I will always say, hey, try this first, because then I don't have to do any tailoring, and it might just work out. But if it doesn't work out, I love that feedback. And they might say, hey, it was working a bit, but I think I need it a bit stronger. Or that's the beauty of keeping the custom requests as well. So to answer your question, certainly open to doing both and keeping that in place potentially forever, because that's what really does build the faith in the products. It's that customizability, and just listening to the customers. And I'm not knocking GPs, I'm not knocking doctors at all, because there's a place for them and they do fantastic work. They've certainly done fantastic work for me in the past. But people are frustrated that they can't even get in, or they are frustrated that the GPs don't have time to listen to them for more than 10 minutes, before they're out the door and the next one's in. And people will liaise with me for a good couple of hours. I'll give them the time. If they're willing to put some money down, if they've already, purchased a couple of things and they want to know a bit more, it's worth my time to get to know that customer and their specific needs. And like I say, that's why I've got so many repeat customers. And looking at the website last night, I was just doing a little bit of tracking. Over half of the orders are repeat custom, which is insane, absolutely insane. And sometimes it's repeat custom within the same week, within the same 2 weeks. I just want to try everything, So, but it is that communication with everyone. And like I say, going back to your earlier question, if we had that sales team in place, I would make sure in the procedures, in whatever training, we keep that same quality, we keep that same standard, because that's what's really driving the business forward, that personal touch on everything and just being able to empathize and understand these conditions as well. Sometimes people come to me with things I've never heard of, and I'll say, I'm really sorry, I don't know what that is. I will have to look it up offline, I'll get back to you. But they appreciate that as well, because how many people are saying that? Not many at all. Not many at all. So that's the beauty of it.
Have you thought about doing wholesale?
Yes. However, I don't think I'm there yet, because in terms of production, I can keep up with what I'm doing now. Just. I mean, like, I'm working pretty much every day. I usually have Sundays off, but even that now, I'm doing a little bit of whatever needs tidying up, cleaning up. People don't see offline how much glassware cleaning I am having to do, and ordering, and
I can imagine.
It's busy. It's busy. But this is we have got the investors on board now, and we've had a couple of hiccups. Everyone's been ill. It's that time of the year. But next month, hopefully, the pressure will be taken away from me.
What are the investors going to be doing?
So we've got Richard, who's going to be doing all the purchasing. He's a chemist as well. And just looking after invoicing and also working with my guy in Canada who's looking after the website together. That's going to be the financial side covered. So at the end of the year, we're going to be able to have all the VAT stuff sorted out. Stuff that I do not want to go anywhere near.
And you shouldn't go near it as well.
I don't want to go near it.
You're the business owner.
That's it. So I did want to delegate that out, and they were comfortable doing that. Emily is going to be taking on some production roles, but she's also bringing that woman's touch to the business, to the design. There's a few different things she's going to be doing, but I actually, the main thing I want Emily doing, and we've discussed this already and she's agreed to it, is the action tracking. So this is something that's in most industries as a standard. You'll put a lot of actions together, you'll date them, and you'll keep nagging the people until the actions are done. And I fall short of not doing everything. I need her to keep me in check, but also keep the rest of the team in check. And just to have that person saying, hey, you've not done your fire alarm checks today, or you've not done this. Do you know what I mean? Like anything from safety to production to all the way out there. Anything. I just want someone to say, what's going on with this? Because the amount of requests I get, I forget half of them. I really do. It's constant. Every day there's at least 10 new messages, which can be dead easy or really complex. So whilst I'm constantly liaising and making stuff, things slip through the gaps. So that's what I really need Emily to do for me, just to absolutely pound it down. Whatever I'm missing, just to keep me back on track. And finally, we have our guy in Canada, David. He's an absolute superstar. He's amazing with the website. You know, all this Hostinger stuff and WooCommerce. It's relatively new to me. I've got my head around it, kind of. But he's working in that field now. And again, with us all being chemists, we don't have to sort of explain anything to each other. We've all got a general idea of what's going on. And so he's handling orders as well and doing a little bit of data tracking, seeing what's the best sellers, what's doing well, what should we drop. And it's great because I didn't realize the benefit of that until he's been doing it. So for instance, this month, he checked in with us and he said, oh, by the way, you're on track to beat your record from last month. I'm like, really? I thought I was doing crap, but like, it's those little things that keeps you motivated. And it's like, oh, right, I didn't even know that. And, but yeah, I looked at the numbers and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, we actually are doing all right. But it's helping just keep me motivated as well. And I do put too much pressure on myself. I always try and beat records. I always try to go the extra mile. But it's just nice having that little bit of, hey, you're actually doing all right. You can chill for tomorrow if you want. So, but and they also recognise how many hours I'm putting in. Sometimes I say, why don't you just have tomorrow off and have a day just liaising with people or something? And that's nice. It is nice that they care about that side of things as well. So, but all of them are brilliant. And like I say, I've got a very knowledgeable team with, must be over 40 years experience in the chemical industry. So it ain't too bad. We've got a pretty intelligent team there.
Have any of them had their own businesses before?
No, this is completely new. We're all about the same age. However, the main thing for me is that I've worked with every one of them. And picking up from the last podcast, that was the issue I had with my previous partner. But this time, I am confident in their abilities. I know what their output is like. I know I can leave them to it. Whereas like before it was constant sort of, okay, what are you doing now? Do you need a hand with that? It was more so, it wasn't two directors, but on paper it was, whereas right now I am doing the directorship in total and I'm confident just to delegate. And that's where I'm at and that's why it's working.
When you said you weren't at the capacity to do the wholesale, but what if you got a big order in? I'm talking tens of thousands.
I mean, I'd be silly not to, wouldn't I? But the thing is, if a big order did come in, I could certainly do it. I'd probably kill myself to do it, But let's say, for example, 100 bottles of Impact Wellbeing came in or something like that. That's the one for anti-inflammatory. It's quite a popular one. And I could see that in a health food shop. I could see that anywhere, essentially. And what it would mean, I would have to say, hey, I can meet that order, but you're going to have to give me a month. But it would be only a month the first time, because I would have to source some bigger glassware. I would have to source some bigger equipment. That'll probably take 3 weeks to come. Then it'd be a week straight of making it. And I have no doubt I could do it. But at that point, I'd have to say, right, I need someone. I need someone here all the time, because then there's the regular stuff as well. At that point, though, I think I've never had a business loan. And potentially that would be the point where I could say, hey, I've actually got a order here for X amount of money. If we could scale this up massively with a business loan and maybe get a bigger unit, obviously at that point I think I would be outside of my own home lab. But
do you want to get to that point, or is that something that you're not too fussed about, that going down that avenue?
I really do think that it's impossible to not expand out of my own home. Yeah, so it's because I'm already maxing it out.
How fast do you want to get to them wholesale orders? Or do you not want to go down that route?
I've never thought about it. I've never thought about it in terms of speed. I very much go with the flow. You know what I mean? Like, if that came in, I'd do it. I really would do it.
I think it'd be more the case of someone's got to go out there and find it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to put effort into that, or?
I certainly would. But again, you might be surprised with the TikTok, because there are a lot of people on there that run their own business. I have had a lot of people who run health food shops just asking me, would you be able to do stock? Would you be able to do this? So you might be surprised. They might come to me. And I have already had at least 2 people come to me, but they're in the very early days of their own businesses. And they say, oh, we're looking to launch in January. Would you be able to have so much? And I said, hey, when it's a bit closer to the time, let me know. But they all know they need to give me plenty of advance. I would not put it out of scope, but right now I'm very comfortable just doing local deliveries myself and pitching online. I could see me sort of doing a little bit of a traveling salesman, but it's not what I'm good at. I'm good at making stuff, and I'm good at showing people how these things are done. And being genuine, open, and totally transparent, that's what's pulling people in. And I have no doubt that there will be bigger companies that eventually clock on as the channel grows, and they will contact me. I have no doubt.
Hopefully. I really hope so.
I hope so too. But right now, even if that doesn't, I have plenty of regular customers who are keeping me well above board.
Mm-hmm. What's the biggest challenge has been then, Robin?
Legislation. Always got to keep up with that, For instance, glucosamine sulfate. That was one. That's the only thing I don't make in house. I buy it pure from Germany, and I literally capsulate it, because the whole point of my business is keep everything pure, no additives, and nobody's doing that for glucosamine. So, and a few people said, "Hey, do you do glucosamine sulfates?" I said, "Oh, okay." I said I can buy it in. I don't normally like doing that, but I found a pure source, and but then I thought, do you know what? I might have to look into some legislation around this one. And I did. And silly little things like, you can't sell glucosamine in a tablet above 1,187 milligrams. Who's going to know that? Why did they decide it was 1,187 milligrams? I could have very easily just put 2-gram capsules in there, and then I'd have been at risk. Definitely. So it's looking into legislation behind each herb, if there's any controlled substances in there. That's always a challenge. But I'd say 95% of everything I do is totally fine. But there are the odd ones where it's like got history with Chinese medicine, and then there's a little bit of crossover in terms of control. The Blue Lotus being a main one for that. It's actually my best seller, but I can't put that in a capsule. I can't put it in a catch-all due to UK law. So it's just a matter of having a look each time, making sure there is nothing I'm going to bump into, nothing that's going to, conflict with any laws. So that's tricky because I have to sort of prompt myself to do it because a law might come out tomorrow. And so keeping on top of that is always a worry. However, again, maybe something I can delegate out to the team. But so that's one thing. But realistically, there's only been two sort of little bits of legislation that I've had to tiptoe around there. But I do believe I'm meeting everything. But the next thing, I guess, would be the demand in production. If not everything comes out right. If I might plan to do 20 bottles of supplements, and I might only get 15 because it might have scorched at the bottom of the flask. And then, if that's 5 bottles of supplements, that's 150 quid lost. So sometimes it's a bit devastating in that sense. So keeping going, basically when I make it, I have to do it straight away. Otherwise it'll set, I'll lose yields. But it might take me all day to make. And then I might find myself doing a 16, 17 hour shift just to make sure everything's done. So keeping myself pushed and keeping going, that is hard. But it's rewarding as well. So keeping up with, just making sure everything's done from start to completion in one go. It's very tempting to just say, I'll do that tomorrow, but then you'll lose yield. So keeping going is quite challenging, obviously, when you're putting in silly hours, but it's necessary when you're growing a business.
Mm-hmm. Are you running any ads at the moment?
Just those beautiful TikTok ads that I, don't get me wrong, I've probably spent in the region of £50 to £60 on promoting certain videos for products on TikTok. No real generation of sales from them. So I've sort of left them for now.
Wonder why that is. If you sat down and thought about it, was that enough spend? Was the marketing message correct? Was the call to action correct?
I think having a route to the website in 3 clicks or less is something I'm missing right now. I think if it was marketed with a direct link, but things are difficult to set up. It is a business account on there, but to have your link straight ready to click, then you have to do some more TikTok licensing and things like that, which isn't an issue, and we can meet all of that. But it's a day for me to sit down and work out everything I need to do, make sure all the boxes are ticked. So there's things like that might be hindering that side of things. But
you've got to do that.
I do.
I do that right now.
I know.
Sack the podcast off and go get that started.
No, don't be silly. Don't sack this off. But the thing is, right now, the most difficult thing is if I had that link on the TikTok live straight to the website, I'm sure the sales would go up.
Oh, mate, why are you not doing that? That's crazy.
It's don't get me wrong. I'm plugging the website right now. What they have to do is
leave TikTok, go get it.
Leave TikTok, go on the website, and then come back on. And I know it's frustrating. I do know.
That's so important though for your conversion rate.
That's it. But don't get me wrong. It's on the to-do list. I need to do it.
It's got to be pretty far up the to-do list.
That's it. Well, maybe I'll do it tonight.
I hope so. If you take anything from this podcast, hopefully it's the importance of getting that sorted.
And don't get me wrong, I'm aware of it. I am aware of all of these things. But it's things like, how can I put it? As soon as I start something, the door goes, and then I've got deliveries, and then I have to check everything in, and then all of a sudden 2 hours is gone. And then I'm due back on the live. It's fitting everything in.
I can imagine.
I'm not making excuses for not doing it.
I can fully imagine how difficult it is to.
It's very difficult.
Do everything.
And the way to do it again is with this action tracking, which is what Emily's going to be looking at. So to have it written down and to have deadlines by everything is something that I've been missing. I did it at the very early days of the business, but ever since then, when I've just been getting up production, sales, bit of marketing, that's took over. So it's dedicating, optimizing days, if you like. So things like that. And to be honest, I think when I've got the team all together, we can delegate that out a little bit more.
It's going to be so exciting to see how, once the team are on board. Is it this month or next month?
So we've got David already working from Canada. Emily's starting tomorrow. We're doing a Blue Lotus extraction tomorrow, all being well with the deliveries. But I'm waiting on some ethanol coming. So, but yeah, that's going to be an exciting one. So I'm actually training her up tomorrow. So realistically, she's going to be ready maybe mid next month. But she's also working full time as well. Yeah. So it's just like as and when we can fit things in. But yeah, one thing that's it's worth mentioning as well, and I didn't realise how important this was until last week. When I'm selling on the lives, I might get 3 or 4 orders in a day. Like I say, that might be 100 quid, it might be 50 quid. As long as I meet my target of 50 quid a day, don't really care. Everything's covered at that point. When I have
50 quid a day though, is that just turnover or is that profit? Or
that's
because either way,
gross,
it's not
gross profit. So that's not realistically, I only need about 30 to 35 quid every day in terms of actual profit to pay for everything and keep going. So it's not that bad.
That can't pay you a wage though, can it?
Well, it pays my bills. And I don't charge for my labour at this stage. I don't. It is my business. It is my baby. You know what I mean? I am able to take a little bit to cover all my bills, and that's all I want to do. And
you will have to make changes though, because that is not sustainable to do that.
Well, one good thing about doing it at home, okay, my mortgage is £190 a month. My electricity bill is more than that. Yeah, but I have the solar panels as well, so I'm saving a little bit there. Basically, I minimised my outgoings before I started this business. Food bill is probably the biggest one in the house, and obviously with the cost of living crisis as it is right now, that is the biggest threat. But I also have my partner who, don't get me wrong, she's backing me up. She works full time as well, and we know we could live off just her wage. We know that we've proved it when I've done it on a similar wage, so I'm not worried about that. But like I say, you'd be surprised. It ain't too bad for me. I'm covered. I am covered when I take 50. Like 50's the minimum. Don't get me wrong. Like last night, for instance, I almost took 400. It's a bit of a Halloween special on payday, like I say, but that's my bills are covered money, £50. That's all that is.
Yeah. But what about holidays or even retirement?
What are those?
Exactly. You definitely deserve some.
I think that'll come in good time. Good time. Maybe next year. Might have a weekend off or something. No, maybe, I don't know. When things are comfortable, when I can leave it for a week and I've got trained staff to look after everything, I think, I'll be able to take a week off, 2 weeks off maybe. What
even just about making, £500 or £1,000 a day? How do you get to that point? Because that's surely where you want to be, like in the shot.
Don't get me wrong. Money's not everything.
No,
to me.
Absolutely not. If you can be happy with that,
I know what I need to make to pay everything, and I've earned some decent wages in industry, and it's nice to have expendable cash. Don't get me wrong, but I don't live beyond my means at all. I am very simple guy, I like my chemistry, I like my lab. I have more money in glassware than I have anything else, so I don't have a fancy car, or I have my van and I have my Mitsubishi Colt, which is the first car I've ever had. I've never changed. I've had it for 11 years. But like I say, I'm working from home. My costs are minimal, and as long as the raw materials are covered and all the bills go out, that's okay. I'm fine. The day I start making 500, 1,000 every couple of days, don't get me wrong, instantly at that point, we need someone else, and then I can I can feasibly pay someone at that point. Right now, with the investors, when I take a salary, they get their cut as well. That's the way we're going to work it. But we're all in agreement that it's going to be like February, March next year once the business has paid for itself. So I know it's a little bit wild as an entrepreneur not caring about money, but
no, it's not that. I just worry about because you're at the very early stage now, and it's really exciting and everything like that. But you keep doing this for 6, 12, 18 months, doing 17-hour days.
It's not always 17 hours. Yeah.
Even 8-hour days, working for that amount of money, you'll soon get a bit narked.
Definitely. But the thing is, sometimes you'll try all day, and you might just barely make target. Right, so that might be a 4-hour stream, and you've done loads of little bits in the background. So let's call it an 8 hours, for that small amount of money. But in that time as well, I have made something. I've made stock. I've maybe done some other actions that needed doing. I'm keeping on top of my housekeeping. I'm keeping on top of other things. Right, so there's other value there that you might maybe not seeing, but. It's tricky. I definitely need to get to those figures comfortably. I need more people. I do need more people, but
you can only get those people if you have the revenue.
Exactly.
So you need the revenue.
True.
You need to focus fully on the revenue.
Well,
it's sales before operations.
I agree. But scale up is a challenge, and I know from industry myself. I used to work in like small scale catalysis, and then bulk it up to pilot scale, and you see different things, and then from the pilot, then it goes to the big factories and things like that. And there's always new challenges at every single step of the scale up. In terms of how I would do this, it's quite simple. I just need bigger equipment to make more in one go. But things like the cleaning then becomes a bigger issue, excuse me. But like for me to clean out a 20-litre flask where it's scorched at the bottom might take me half a day. And because you got to understand, I've got to have no contamination in there from when I'm using it for the next batch. And by contamination, I mean someone might be allergic to cinnamon, and then I'm doing lion's mane next. And if there's any traces of cinnamon in that, then obviously I've failed at that point. So to clean these bigger vessels out is a challenge, but you can get more done out of them as well. So scaling up that way does come with challenges in terms of cleaning. But it's an odd one because I do feel as though without even pushing for more, naturally it's happening. I mean, we've took more money last month than we ever have. And the month before that, we took more money than we'd ever have. So it's going the right way.
Yeah, which is so exciting.
It really is. And like I say, that does tie into the bit of the overwhelming side as well. So I do try and keep my cool a lot of, but when I see an order coming in for like £180, I'm like, wow, this person's got some real faith in me. I might send them a list of everything. Oh, you might want to try any of these. I say, maybe try this one first, and then I'll see an order for everything I've suggested. And I think, wow, what a brilliant customer. I'm putting all their faith in me for that. And yeah, so these things are happening. The bigger orders are coming in. But the thing is right now, I always get more money in at this time of the month when everyone's just being paid. People are struggling. People are really struggling. And I do try my absolute best to keep costs at a minimum for my customers. I always give them a little bit more than they pay for. I think that's a little bit of customer satisfaction that they're like, it doesn't cost me much extra to put another 10% in there or whatever. And I think naturally we'll start seeing some orders coming in. Like I say, a month ago we had 1,000 less followers. That's not bad. So I'm hoping by Christmas, maybe at the 4,000, 5,000 mark. And if I'm bringing in a sustainable amount with 2,000 followers right now, I think that's where the natural progression is going to come from. And like I say, I know I talk about TikTok a lot, but I wouldn't have a business without it. So the TikTok community and the growth that's come from that, I've been blown away, because my old business partner as well said it was a waste of time, so it wasn't going to work. So there was doubts on that side of it as well. Now I've really shown that, hey, I don't even need anything else but TikTok. It's a little bit wild. So, but I'm able to get my personality across on there as well, which people like. It's they like that I'm a genuine, normal person. I don't put my face on there, but they're going to go on the website and see who I am. You know what I mean? But I think just being genuine and having a good relationship with customers will drive these profits forward. And the amount of repeat custom is, like I say, what's really working for me.
Yeah, and I think not necessarily profit, but more of a reach and an impact on people as well probably means more to you than the profit.
When I get a review in, I'm more happy with a review than a sale.
Yeah.
When I see, I've had pain with my knee for 6 years. This is the only thing that's took the edge off. I was like, wow. And that person will have tried God knows how many different things. And then I'll see another one underneath. Oh, first I've had a bit of relief from my shoulder pain, and
what are you doing with those reviews?
So those are all on the website.
Yeah.
So I verify them, make sure there's nothing, crazy in there. I've never had a bad review. The worst review I had was your tin was too small. I needed to order a bigger one. So that ain't too bad. But a lot of people message me directly saying, "Oh, brilliant night's sleep last night. I can't believe the difference," And I'll say, "Hey, thank you for your feedback. Lovely message. Would you mind just sticking it on the website for the next person to see?" People do that, but they forget, And so driving those reviews to the website is a slight challenge, but if I nudge people, they do it. And I don't like bugging people,
What about sending them a TripAdvisor link or not what's the Trustpilot?
I think what we can do is like a follow-up email just to nudge them, just say, "Hey, how did the product work for you? Please leave a review." That is totally doable with our website, and it's something, again, I can explore. But normally, if I'm in contact with these people, the regular orders anyway, and then they'll do all the reviews at once. It's weird. So sometimes I'll go in and it's like, 5 reviews today, and it's all from the same person through their entire history of everything that they've bought, which is always nice, But I must admit, driving reviews to the website is very difficult because people just message me saying, "Oh, it worked brilliantly," and I forget all about it. So that is a challenge, definitely.
Yeah, you could send them a Trustpilot link though, couldn't you, and capture, and then they wouldn't have to.
So how would that work? Sorry, I don't know too much about that.
Yeah, so you just get the link from Trustpilot, send it to them, and just say, "Could you put the review on there?" Then
right, okay.
You put it on the website.
I see. Like a Google review, but like Trust. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
That's like I said, I do want to build it on the website as well, just because that's the go-to for everything I do. But the thing is, getting it out there, getting that Trustpilot as well, people recognise that. So I agree. That would be a sensible approach.
But you could then put it on the website once you know it's a genuine review.
Yeah, of course.
At least you're getting that actual review.
But the only thing is, when people type it in directly, I'm able to say that's a verified review.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if people type it in direct to the website, it's it'll come up with like a little tick box to say, yes, this is a genuine person, So
you should incentivize them as well. So 10-20% off next order if you leave a
that's a good idea.
A genuine review.
I think don't get me wrong, I always give loads of freebies to returning customers anyway. But I think I'll follow that up, definitely. Just a little nudge to say,
or even like a month's worth of supply if you do a video.
Review. Yeah, to be fair, I've had a few of those, which is always nice. People do it, and it's a surprise, and they send me it, and they're like, "Oh, brilliant little TikTok review," and I'm like, "Wow, someone's gone out of their way to make a whole video." They might have spent an hour on that, but and it's wild. And I'll say, "But you haven't left a review on the website." Yes. But I appreciate any feedback whatsoever. My whole point of it is trying to sort their ailments out, and
if you can keep that as your core.
Yeah, definitely.
Make decisions based on that.
I agree.
Yeah, I think the rest will come naturally because I think there's a real hungry audience for it.
Certainly. Certainly. I think now more than ever, since COVID's come and gone, and people have looked for a more natural approach in terms of medicine. And I never advertise these products as medicine. It's not what I do. These are what they are. If you get turmeric oil for me, it's advertised as turmeric oil and I won't list any health benefits. That's for you to find out. You can do your own research. But yeah, that's I'm sort of losing my train of thought there, but that's the way I'm doing things at the moment.
Yeah. What's the plan for the next few months?
Well, it's the first time I've got a Christmas as a business owner, so I'm hoping to capitalise on that, definitely.
That's why we need to be making more than £50 a day so you can enjoy these things.
Don't get me wrong, £50 a day, like I say, is my head above water number. Yeah. Okay, I'm averaging more than that.
Yeah,
I am averaging more than that, and I think in December time I'll be looking like 100 to 120 pounds easily when people are starting to look for stocking fillers. And it's nice to buy, your granddad or grandma something for their arthritis. It means just that they're thinking about other things, rather than a box of chocolates and a bottle of whiskey. It's something different. So I'm going to do little bundles. I think I'm going to. So I've already got the arthritis bundle there, and that's doing okay. You can save a tenner. Otherwise, you'd have. Buying them individually, it's like £60, or you can get it all for 50. Just more sort of gift ideas. And I do think a couple of like promotional sales, some definitely, focusing in on a few products that are more premium gift related. I think that would be nice.
Have you thought about doing subscriptions?
Yes, I have. And it's a little bit tricky, because a lot of my customers, they like to try different things. It's weird. They'll maybe buy one thing every month, but then
it'd be like a mystery box.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Oh yeah, mystery oil box. Yeah. Oh my God, you got the cogs turning there now. Oh my God.
Mystery box.
Yeah. Come back to me in a week on that. I've got some ideas straight away.
So, you could have your arthritis subscription, your sleep subscription, the energy subscription.
That's it,
but
yeah.
Then you've got your mystery box subscription.
Would you like a job? You've got some really good ideas there. Like, I definitely need to be pushing these types of things. And
these are all the things that excite me. And
unexplored avenues as well, like
ideas and how do we reach more people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the byproduct is money and profit and stuff.
Of course.
And that is important, especially in business. But if you can figure out how to reach more people and
definitely,
these ideas but it's about having the ideas, but it's also about implementing the ideas as well. Because if you're running around cleaning and doing all,
Hence why I've now got my action tracker in place with Emily there. So that's
she's got a whip.
Oh, I've said loads of times. I said, don't worry about me being director. If I'm not doing what I need to be doing, let me know. And hammer it in, because it's an action for a reason. It's on there so we can improve, or so we've got scope for something else. We don't consider anything without it having a purpose. There's a couple of nice to haves. Don't get me wrong, but. Having her in place, I think that'll work wonders for driving things forward. And again, all of these things we're talking about now, I'll watch this podcast back. I'll make a lot of actions myself, and I'll pass them on to Emily, and I'll be like, make sure I do these. I think there's a few more urgent ones, as we said, especially with that link on the TikTok. Yeah. But having her in place will reassure me that there is going to be continuous improvement, and we're ticking things off the list, not just making and selling. We're growing as well.
Are you on LinkedIn?
I am on LinkedIn.
Doing stuff on LinkedIn.
So not really yet, but
I think that's where the B2B stuff might come, and the sort of the wholesale orders.
Definitely, we do have a page on there. Don't get me wrong. We had a day where we set up all the social medias. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Now, back in the day when we were sorting that, it was my business partner was doing the LinkedIn and the Instagram. and I've continued to do the Facebook and the TikTok. Now, I am going to delegate those out, the LinkedIn and the Instagram, because I don't have experience with them. So whoever really wants to manage that, Emily is keen to look at the Instagram. I think Richard might be more suited towards the LinkedIn because he's been in more managerial roles. You know, he's got a little bit further experience outside of chemistry as well, so a little bit more diverse. You know, his last job he was in researching in concrete and things like that. So, but as a production manager as well, so he's liaising with professionals a lot more than I am, and I think he will be able to, you know, put some professional links on there. But we only did it straight away just to say, hey, we're an official business, and then, you know, you can check my profile and I am working for Impact Organics, you know. So we did the basics, but we've not had any events or things like that. When we did our Wellbeing Festival in Redcar, obviously we shared that on there. But going forward, if we are doing events, if we are doing new products, things like that, the idea is to blitz all of the socials. But just being the one person here, I've only had time to do the Facebook and the TikTok. And the TikTok is a lot more loose. You know, I can pretty much put anything on there. And I do try and capture my sense of humour on there with a few videos as well, but that might not be necessary, like right for LinkedIn. And you know,
I think with TikTok it's more awareness where, you know, so you're reaching a bigger audience. Where LinkedIn you need to be more specific.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
That's why it's better for B2B rather than B2C.
That's it. And I do think having some dedicated staff towards those two socials there, like Instagram for example as well. I've never used it in my life. Never used Instagram in my life. I've always had Facebook and I've never needed it. I always saw it as like just photographs and what. I'm probably totally wrong. Emily uses Instagram. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. So things like that, it will start to fall in place, and the scope's there.
When you're a millionaire by 35.
That's right. When?
What are you going to do with your money?
That's a really good question. I guess the first thing, you know, got to pay off all my debts on my mortgage. But
all that'll be done by the time you're a millionaire. You know, so you're debt free.
Yeah,
and you've got millions in the bank. What do you do?
Well, I always said I'd have one flash car. You know.
What car?
Oh, I'm not even sure, but maybe a Lamborghini Gallardo, is it? Or something like that. A nice orange one, you know. But
Impact Organics on the side.
Yeah, that's it. I'll get it on the side of the van first. But in all honesty, I think I found a new passion in streaming, and I've always liked my gaming as well. Like I might even do something a little bit more fun and go into that. I'm quite competitive on that front. So I don't know, maybe something with gaming, maybe something. I definitely like to put good energy out there. I never want to, give bad vibes. I like to help people. So maybe just keep growing the business. At that point, maybe I can do things cheaper as well and try to really make a difference to more people.
Have more of an impact.
Yeah, but
more people.
In terms of personal, I definitely owe my fiance a few holidays as well. You know, we've not had that opportunity to get away. We had like one holiday in 10 years, something like that together. So I definitely treat her and take her around the world. But besides that, I have no plans. I just want to have enough to get by. And don't get me wrong, I certainly have that goal of being a millionaire, but I have no intention of splashing cash. And, you know, I'm a very simple man. Like I say, I enjoy Call of Duty. It's those kind of things. But I definitely need to spend some more time with friends as well. So that's something that I would do.
More time with family, fiance, have a bigger impact.
Definitely.
More people.
But, you know, I don't think I'd move out the area. My family's here, my friends are here. You know, maybe a bigger house, have a family, you know, but all in good time. Make sure we're in a nice, stable place, and that's what we do.
Amazing.
Now, I don't know what my partner would say to that, but but that's the intention, just have enough to get by. I hate. Do you know what? To be totally independent and sustainable off the grid, that's what I would be first as a millionaire. Have my own energy supplies, my own foods, don't have to rely on anyone. That's like the end goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. My own bit of land, maybe a little bit of farmland, grow everything myself, make everything myself, be totally independent. I hate the idea of having to rely on anybody. I really do. So being independent is important to me, and I think I would really drive that forward if I had the funds to do that.
Amazing. That's a good place to stop and end this. Thanks so much for coming on, mate. I'm really excited to see where you take this over the next 6, 12, 18 months.
Oh, me too. I have no idea where it's going. But it's going up.
Yeah.
It is going up.
That's the most important thing, is keep impacting people and improving their lives.
That's the most important bit to me.
I'm sure the rest will take care of itself.
Like I say, when the reviews come in saying they fixed a certain issue, that's the biggest reward for me.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Much appreciated.